Happy anniversary to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Not only is it anniversary, but 40 years. That is incredible. I can't think of a game slash simulator, whatever you want to call this, that has done even remotely close to that. I started with FS4, FS5, sort of late 80s, early 90s. I was just around, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. My dad had a computer that could use it, a little CGA monitor, and we had paper charts that we used to plan flights on, and it was great, and I'm so glad that they are still making it today. So what I wanted to do today was take one of the new free aircraft that they came out with for this release, which is this beautiful DC-3. Altogether, I believe there's 15 different aircraft that were released, including gliders and helicopters. But I didn't want to go too in depth with this one today on a sort of like full immersion checklist, all that stuff. I figure most people just want to get in this bird and get it in the air and go for a flight. So this is probably just maybe a flight and a half. So this is going to be warts and all, because I'm sure I'm going to forget some things as I continue to learn how to fly this properly. But I'm going to show you what I've learned so far, and we're going to go from here in Burbank and just do a quick flight over to Orange County. So let's go ahead and hop on into the cockpit, get this fired up, and get on in the air. Alright, so here we are in the cockpit, and what a wonderful place to be. Just the right amount of wear on all these fantastic levers and toggles and switches and all the good stuff. But let's just go through and get this thing fired up. We're going to hide out the controls. They're a little unique. Normally you would click on here or on the base, but on here you click the plate, and over on the co-pilot side you click that base. We do want to get our cowl flaps set to trail for takeoff, and then we're just going to go ahead and click on our battery. Let's go ahead and get our nav lights on. And then we might as well just turn on our landing lights, seeing as we are on the runway. Let's go ahead and get our magnetos set to both. And from there, yep, down here to our mixture, we can go ahead and just set that up to auto rich. You can see there's two little idents here. There's an auto lean down at the bottom and an auto rich at the top. We want it on auto rich. Props can come full forward. Crack the throttle just a smidge. It's a technical term, smidge. Now to fire up the engines, we're gonna do right first. So we're gonna turn on the booster pump. We're gonna come down to right engine. You're gonna hear that sort of whir up a little bit. There it goes. We can go ahead and click on our mesh and come over here to primer. Just give it a second. You're going to hear a click, which is the primer going off. There it is. And it fires up. Now you're supposed to leave the booster pumps on for takeoff, but we're just going to turn them off for the sake of not having too much noise going on. But we're going to do the same for the left engine. Pop that on. We're going to wait for that little whirring noise to sort of, there it is. And come on over, and we're gonna hit the mesh and turn on the primer. Same thing, we're gonna hear a click and fire it up. Go ahead and turn off that booster. All right, so we're all fired up, nice and simple there. Now you do have your parking brake is down here, and then here this little green knob, which is always hard to get to because of the giant trim wheel. I can't even quite get to it here, but that is your wheel lock, your tail lock. I personally do not like using it in any Microsoft Flight Simulator tail draggers because it tends to get a little difficult with how it reacts to rudder input while the tail is still on the ground. So I keep that unlocked. Just getting a little more comfortable here while we get set up. Do not need flaps. You do have your flap gauge here, but we're just going to go ahead and advance very slowly. We're going to try and rotate around 85-ish miles an hour. I believe this is in miles an hour. Yeah, it is in miles an hour. We are on live weather. I believe wind is roughly coming out of the east. We're taking off on runway 9. So let's go ahead and pop off that parking brake. And we can go ahead and begin to advance that throttle. Like I said, nice and slow. Alright, we're at full throttle. I'm going to pitch forward on the yoke a little bit to keep us on the ground. Looking at the 80, 85, let's go ahead and rotate. Not the best takeoff, but we're in the air. Positive rate of climb, gear coming up. Now I want my airspeed to increase, which it's doing nicely here, and we can start to trim for our climb. We're going to go over the autopilot here in a minute. Now there is no sort of like nav or approach or anything like that. It is a very primitive sort of basic autopilot. It's a little unique though. So we'll go ahead, and that's looking pretty good for our climb out. Now for our climb though, we do need to reduce power. So 36 inches of manifold pressure and about 2300 RPMs. I want to watch my nose though. It's looking good. Alright, so the way this autopilot works, this is your autopilot here. This is your heading mode here, so you can rotate that. And then this turns it on and off. This is your pitch. And then this is to turn it on and off. This is your autopilot master. And this is to adjust your pitch. So, what I like to do, I have a little knob here, which is going to make it a little easier on me. I like to go ahead and line up our... let me just acknowledge that. So if you look at the top one, it spins with your sort of knob down here. You can see this is rotating as I'm spinning it. So if we just go and match that up, right, so right around there, we can click the heading mode on and then go ahead and actually turn on, and all I did there was click that, and then we can click on autopilot. That's just going to maintain us at our heading mode. Now you notice that this is going to try and level us off, and we can go ahead and this, for some reason it clicks off heading mode when you do that, but see if we can't get that back on again. And there. Not quite sure why it sort of goes on and off there, but we can go ahead and actually start to dial in. Nope, we gotta do it that way. Dial in our pitch. So if you look at our climb rate over here, if we go counterclockwise, and you can see that's kind of going down, you can see that starts to come up. So we're starting to climb, and it's going to hold that pitch. And we're holding our heading. We're coming up to LA. Dodger Stadium should be just off to our side here somewhere. There it is. There's Dodger Stadium. But let's go ahead and turn over a little bit more here. So we're going to turn out towards the coast. But we've got a good climb going on. I'm just watching our manifold pressure here. Coming up to right around 4,500 feet. And you can see I'm just messing with our heading mode here. There's wonderful LA. You can see it's once you figure out this autopilot, it's super easy to fly this plane. So we'll go ahead and level off. Let's go up to 4,000 feet and we'll level off there. I think I said we were already at 4,500. We were at 3,500 then. So wanted to have a quick look at LA. Looking pretty nice. Alright, so we're coming up to 4,000 feet. So you can take this here and then you're going to start to rotate it to come down to basically 0. That's going to level you off so you're not climbing anymore. So now that we're level, we can go ahead and set our cruise, which you're going to come down here and you're going to set 30 inches of manifold pressure. And we're going to drop this prop down to 2,050. And then that mixture, we can bring that down to auto lean. Where's that click at? There it is. And we're good to go. Alright, so I've got Santa Ana, Orange County in sight here. So let's go ahead and start slowing ourselves down a little bit. We can go ahead and bring this back down to about 20 inches. We can bring this down a little bit as well. Now, we're not going to lose altitude because I still have a set with our pitch autopilot on, and I still have our heading mode set. So this is where it just becomes a manual game, right? Now we could tune into the ILS, which, let's go ahead and do it. I don't know what it is, but we can bring up, this is, I think, got introduced in the last update, but you can click on these guys here now and get it's not giving us the ILS. It does say that there's one there, but it does not give us the information. So never mind. We're just gonna fly this bad boy in semi-manually. I'm just keeping an eye on those little flashy lights over there. You can see there's just these weird little blurbs of fuzziness. I don't quite know what they are. Alright, so we've slowed down. Which is good. I'm going to go ahead and turn over. Can't keep an eye on that runway. We went past it a little bit. That's okay though. And now this is where it becomes like a game of setting your vertical speed. So I've got, see, I'm turning the knob up and down. We want to go ahead and start descending a little bit. I'm going to get us lined up a little better here. We got to turn over. Now I'm going to go ahead and introduce the first notch of flaps. Now, there's not necessarily notches. It works on a, I believe, a hydraulic pressure system. So you just have to like kind of pump it up. And that'll help slow us down. Alright, let's turn over now to, I believe it's 197. I think it's a 20 runway, so we're gonna aim for that. We've got a okay descent rate going on here. And we'll turn off autopilot here in just a moment and fly the rest of it manually. I'm going to go ahead and bring in up to half. Start to slow us down even more. Now I'm going to come down here and we're going to go up to auto rich. That's looking actually pretty good. We need to turn a little bit to the right. Speed's looking okay. I'm going to draw back the throttle a smidge here down to about 15 inches of manifold pressure. That's better. I'm going to increase that descent rate just a little bit. So we're going to come over here. We're going to turn that knob down about 400, 500 feet per minute. And go ahead and at this point I'm going to go ahead and lower the landing gear, which is going to really slow us down. Hear that drag already happening. And all I'm doing here is just, you know, twisting and turning the heading knob to try and get us lined up. You can see we're not quite there, so we're going to come over a little bit. I'm probably going to disengage here in just a moment. Watching that airspeed, we want to be between 100 and 105 at this point. We can go ahead and actually come to 3/4 now. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and disengage here. So disengaging, you would just click on that guy there. And we're going to try and fly this in manually. Now, let's see if I fold under pressure or I get a good landing. Alright, so we're at a good speed where it says, you know, right there in big letters, you know, do not lower landing flaps when airspeed exceeds 112. We're under 112 already, so we're good there. Poppy lights are saying we're a little low. I'm just going to really kind of keep an eye on the airspeed. I'm going to go ahead and bring in a little bit of power here. As we got closer to the ground there, we were starting to get a little bit of uplift. Started to kill our airspeed a little bit, and also we're no longer on that autopilot, which is, there we go, our poppy lights now, if you look, 2 red, 2 white. We're going to be a little high here in a minute though. There we go, that's looking a little better, although now we are high. There we go. Now before we land, we want to make sure our props are full forward. Right now I don't have them full forward, but when sort of landing is kind of assured, we want to put them all the way forward just in case we have to do a go around. Our mixture is already set to auto rich, so we are good. Landing gear is down. We can come to full flaps. Oops. Here. We're going to start to back off that throttle a little bit. Now, you never want to do a 3-wheeled landing on this. Always 2-wheel. Let that rear tail just drop nice and easy. I'm going to start to slow us down even more. Prop has come full forward. Alright, we're going to let that touch down. And then we're going to keep that nose up. Ooh, try and balance that thing around here. Told you it's going to be a learning experience. There's the tail down. Listen to the wheels squeal. Ah, there we go. Alright, well, clearly not a good landing, but how cool was that the tires were squealing? Love it. Love it. Like I said, warts and all. Let's go ahead and bring those flaps up. Alright. I wonder what the wind was doing, because I did not check. Yeah, it's not doing much of anything according to that windsock. That was all human error there, but I will take it. We had a good start to that. I'm looking forward to practicing that more and more. Let's go ahead and pull over to this hangar here. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited to get better at landing this thing, because that was hilarious. That was some good skidding going on. All right. Go ahead and stop here. Well, I hope you enjoyed. That was fun. Like I said, I think that was actually maybe my first landing in this. The rest of them have just been flying around getting used to the instruments and such. So Sprocket Simulation saying thank you very much for flying with me today. I wish you all happy flights and silky smooth landings. Take care.